Welcome everyone to another episode of Talking with WIT Kevin and Son. Today we have a very special guest. He's a father, social activist, entrepreneur, over 35 years in the business of entertainment, and he's a friend. He's more than just funny. He's T. Kirkland. This episode is brought to you by RMK Productions and 10 United Podcasts. Through the power of story, our mission is to uplift, inspire, share stories and experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching and learning. Our purpose is hope, helping other people every day. We have an individual here that has done it all. You're talking about a story that had no hope to a story that is helping and creating hope for everyone else. Welcome to our show, Mr. T.K. Kirkland.
That's a great intro, Kev.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I'm on.
Thank you. You know I'm a writer, so I had to put that together for you. I wanted to impress
Yes,
you.
yes, sir.
So, TK, no one where we're at right now, and the people that know us now, a lot of people don't know our story. They don't know your backstory of your relationship, your mom, dad, how you grew up, and whatever. So there's always a beginning. Let's go ahead and take our listeners back to introduce them to not the TK that we know today, the truth, TK. Let's share with our listeners today the young man that grew up in Jersey, track
Mm.
star. Matter of fact, go back before you became a track star. Talk about your parents, your brothers and sisters, that life before. TK, go ahead and enlighten our people.
Well, my life was kind of unique. I think my parents was in my life, my mother and dad, but as a 14, I had tragedy in my house. Like my dad drowned in Long Island swimming off the beach on the undercurrent um, in the ocean. So that was the beginning of tragedy in my home. And then I actually saw the decline of both my brothers because once my dad died, my brothers and them went left and went a total down the wrong path. So my oldest brother winds up getting murdered. My youngest brother gets AIDS. My mom dies of cancer years later. But what happened for me was, everybody's different. So I just have ambition in me, even to this day. To be my age, I still get up and thrive and still want to achieve. So my background was, I guess, people who were hung around me, but winning and determination still has to be in you. You got people who can mentor, you got people that can inspire you. But if it's not in your DNA, you can truly go off to another lane that is not successful. So I had a coach named Mr. Wilbur Jones, who was my high school coach. So I listen to people, I take everything in, whether it's good or bad. I keep what's good, I delete what's bad. So all over all these years, starting as a child, believe it or not, I take things from people. So Mr. Jones and is a very important part of my legacy and my determination because he puts that as a coach. He puts that DNA. A good coach puts that DNA in you that you will use for the rest of your life. So one of his greatest lines was, "Anybody can run when they're tired. It's can you run when you're tired?" So I'm tired, but man, I'm still doing my thing. So I've taken that and just applied it, and had some couple of mishaps in the game where you get off track. But the goal is that I got back on track, and it's been a blessing. So I take all that to be a great dad to my children. My kids are very successful. They're healthy. Everybody's in college, athletes, business, music industry, psychologists, dentists. I have no complaints.
That's impressive. I think you listed five different professions, so I'm taking it you got five different kids.
Yes, I have five.
Which one is your favorite?
They all my everybody knows that Trinity is my baby because she reminds me of my mom. So I love them all, but Trinity for some reason, because my mom died right before she was born. So there's a special connection there with my daughter. So but I love them all, do our thing, and never been married. So people who are married, as of right now, don't believe in marriage. So that's just me. I believe in being with one woman, but I don't believe in being married.
um, Now, since we're talking about your kids, are any of your kids following in your footsteps? And they even want to be like actors or comedians?
Nope. And I'm
None of
glad.
them.
And let me tell you, a lot of people talk to me about entertainment and how to get entertainment. See, I discourage people from coming into the entertainment world. And one of my reasons I always give, I would say, if I was a professor and I asked you to do research on actors, actresses, writers in Hollywood, you would come back with a horrific research paper. And it would be horrific because we don't get the great opportunities that whites get in that business. So yes, you can get lucky, but man, it's a struggle. So you really got to have a side hustle. You got to have all these other things going on to pursue that dream. So I try to put people in control of their own life, meaning create your own business, get a trade, something that you don't have to depend on another person's opinion to be successful. That's just hard. I don't understand that. Like you could be the greatest person in the world, but because the way you look, maybe you could be overweight, you could be the wrong complexion, but could be the most talented person in the world. Somebody else who don't even know this business, right? Who happen to college, who happen to know someone, got a job to tell you how to do what you're good at. Oh man, that's hard.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's where I'm at right now. I'm getting sick and tired of lining other people's pockets and listening to what they have to say. Yeah,
right, exactly. So you gotta put your money together, whatever you're trying to do, and make your own decisions. Like a lot of people wanted me to do Netflix on my special called "Who Raised You," and the thing I liked about going with Amazon Prime was I was in control of my own project. I knew what date I was going to release it. I knew the name of the title, I knew what I wanted the cover to look like. I have a team who makes sure we had all the specs, that everything was right to put on Amazon Prime. And I am able to keep knowing of the numbers of how it makes without calling them saying, can we get the accounting? What's the accounting number? Even though Netflix don't do that. I think Netflix pays you out and that's it. They give you one lump sum and they done with you. But that's what I like. Because in the 90s, I had to go through people. Like even though I was the most talented, but this person knew that person. So if I call that person, this person introduced me to this person doesn't take their job very serious. What I mean by that is a man to me is a man who can tell another man or woman yes or no without lingering them along, without when you call, can I call you back? When I call, can I get back to you in a couple of days? Can I call secretary says, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. And then when you have an idea, everybody has an opinion, right? So tell somebody an idea and guess what they do? Man, I like that, but maybe you shoot this. Well, damn it, it's my opinion. It's my vision, it's my dream, it's my conversation. I'll put all this in, but you say yes to them because 9 times out of 10, they hold the power to check.
You're exactly right. I had a conversation yesterday with someone, and we were talking about LeBron James, and we were talking about how rich um, um, LeBron James is. And I said, look, I think about it this way. LeBron James is wealthy. He's not rich. The guy that writes his paycheck is rich.
Right.
Okay. When you can pay 11 other people, 7 figures multiple times, whatever, and you can still live your life, that's rich. And that's one of the things is when we started RMK Productions, our mission was to set out and make us independent, to give a voice to a class of people that didn't have a voice, didn't have a position in Hollywood, didn't have a position in media, and were looking out for handouts in order to get a hand. And my grandfather always said he didn't mind giving you a hand, but he wasn't going to haul you around for the rest of your life. We are either as people, no matter what race, no matter what gender or our preferences, we're either shackled to someone's dream, and if that's what your position is, it's okay, or we're docked until opportunity provides itself, like yourself, Mr. TK, the truth, Kirkland. that started his own media management company that allowed himself to be in the conversations with Sandra Bullock, allowed himself to be in conversations with D.L. Hughley, allowed himself to be in conversations and business with Michael Epps, and the list goes on and on. And that's the reason why, RMK Productions is surrounding themselves with people like yourself to try to educate our own people, to bring us back, and to have our own voice, to have our own studio. We should be our own Black Hollywood. And I want to ask you a question. And we experienced during COVID a lot of change, and we also witnessed history repeating itself. The only difference is it was on videotape. TK Kirkland, when you talk to your kids, and especially your sons, about what they witnessed with George Floyd, how do you prepare your sons for the conversation and the world that they're going to have to face going forward without dad being present? How do you prepare them?
Well, the only thing you could truly do is live by example. We don't really talk about it too much, believe it or not. My presence alone, they know that daddy used to be a street hustler. They know daddy's a businessman, but I conduct myself as a man. I move a certain way. I talk to people a certain way. And my kids pick up that, and I watch them from afar, and I see that they move exactly like their dad. What's so crazy, even my daughters move like their dad. They don't speak out of turn. They know how to stay out the way. What I have seen what happened with George Floyd, with a lot of people, and I always tell the truth when I talk, the problem with most young kids today is they not man enough to go to jail. Everything is an argument with the police officers when they get pulled over, et cetera, et cetera. And I explain to people that even though there are corrupted cops in here, and even though sometimes you are doing something wrong, the thing about being a man is you get caught, you go to jail, and you bail out. You don't argue with the police. You don't talk mess to them why they are trying to conduct an investigation. You don't use cursing at them, because I always tell people the goal is to get home. So when the cops pull you over, this is when everything about your parents, if you do have them, comes out to say yes sir, no sir. If you got a warrant, you got ID, go to jail because you live to see another day. If you start fronting, oh, you pull me over, you start attacking them verbally, now they're nervous. They don't know what you're going to do. And it's gotten so bad now, we are at a point where everybody is nervous. The cop is nervous, he's going to pull out the gun. The young man is nervous because he don't know if the cop's going to kill him. So, and you got to be lucky, Cal. You could be, and you still can say all those things, you still can do all that. And you can have the worst cop in the world, and he'll still take your life. So there, to the people listening, there is no right way. All you gotta do is just be careful and do your thing. Cause I would hate to be that person that would get tested to see what I would do if somebody did something to my child. I really would hate that. I would really hate for someone to put me in that position to see what I would do. And I think that's my answer to that. I live by example with my children.
Well, TK, you know something. As a man of color, speaking to another man of color, we know that the biggest prize that we are ever going to have is our relationship with our kids. We're never going to be held to a higher standard or judged harder than we are with our kids. And I completely understand what you said. It's like, I try to be the peacemaker. I try to, always have the sound mind, but I do draw the line. There's nothing but a warrior in me when it comes to defending my kids, and my kids both know that. And with my son being part of this legacy of talking with Kevin and son, I got to prepare him and be honest with him. I don't think Theo and I have ever had a conversation, no matter how uncomfortable, that it wasn't genuine and true.
Okay.
Am I right?
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
From a very young age, definitely.
Yeah.
See, that's the good thing. Just like your business, Kev. See, I always try to enlighten people on podcasts, because a lot of people do podcasts just to do podcasts. The business the knowledge I try to give people the podcast is make sure you get your numbers up on the podcast. Keep a rhythm of how many followers. And once people get over 8,000 viewers consistently, then I put people up on game to get sponsorships. The podcast business for a show like yours is $200,000 a year. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people just get up every day, talk about they got a podcast and just put it on, but no one is seeking advertising dollars. No one is trying to get their numbers up to get a podcast. The goal is what you're doing is to get the numbers up so sponsors will send you a check. And here's the other hustle. The other hustle in the podcast business is everybody has a neighborhood. So if you go to different people in your neighborhood and you say, hey, I have this particular podcast, I reach over 3,000-4,000 people. I would like to sponsor you, but it's a fee. You can go to 9, 10, 15, 20, depending on your grind, depending on your hustle. Every month or every week, however you want to calculate it, people are giving you a check to do local. So now it's possible you can make $1,500, $3,000, $4,000 a month, easy sponsorship money without even paying somebody back along what you got to do. It's just the new hustle in the game, because you could take their product, you could take their flyers, you could just mention them. Hey, everybody, this is, I'm talking to my girl, Sandra from Fish Fry down the street, who makes the best fish in the area. When you're in such and such, please stop by and say, oh, man, but people don't think like that. My mind is always on the dollar.
Well, believe it or not, my mind is not directly towards the dollar, but it's directed towards the impact of the way that we impact our people, and the dollar just happens to be the part of the process. With RMK Productions, our ultimate goal is collaboration. You know, we know that there's 1,730,000 people out there podcasting. There's only less than 1% of us that look like us that are doing as well as you are.
Wow.
I'm trying to bring those people together. I'm trying through collaboration. We are creating a network of people that have a call of action with RMK Productions. So we're only looking for quality people. You know, you've said it earlier. You are guilty by association, but you also are successful by the surroundings of the people that you have within your network. So, you know, it's just like you, TK. I called and says, look, I got to interview you. I want to introduce you to my son. You picked up the phone and says, when can we do this? You're in, you know, we're on East Coast time. You're in Vegas time. So there's a 3-hour difference. And I thank you, my brother, for getting up early. And I know you went to the gym, because I went in the gym too, and I was grinding just as hard, because I know when I was benching, I said, I got to do 2 more than TK, because I know what he's doing. But, you know, we're trying to educate young podcasters to say, one, the first investment's got to be in yourself. But we have a network that streams global that we can connect you to. We can make it easy. So when we market our company as one podcast. So everyone's collectively downloads and their views and so forth. We are all connected. Each of our groups, each of our social media, and I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, is to share this with your people. And I'm going to support you, and I'm going to support the people that's connected to you. And this podcast is going to grow. Not only am I doing that, I'm bringing in Bollywood. I've got one of their biggest stars that's going to be streaming their movies that's normally not seen in the United States to RMK Productions. We're looking for comedians. They can't get on the stage like you. They've got a gift. We're going to do it from there. You know, Tracy was supposed to be on here to do our cooking show. But our whole purpose is to give back to our community. You know, RMK Productions, we want to make sure that there's a young man or woman that does not have the financial wherewithal to get a college education. In a year from now, we want to be in a position to pay his full tuition. We know that there's a mother that's trying to hold it down, you know, that doesn't have a father present. We want to make sure that she's able to have a home and live in a neighborhood where the opportunity of her sons growing from 1 to 18 to 25 is in her favor, and not in a neighborhood that, you know, living past 14 is a goal. You know, we also want to provide an opportunity and create a platform that our black community, our black business people, we want to end hunger in our neighborhoods. And we can do this collectively if everyone gets together and says, look, every child needs to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no excuse. And then, like you said, to make sure that we're not providing our children with government educations, that they graduate with a trade and understand how to do a business plan, how to set up a business itself and work for themselves, or, learn about the real business of entertainment, and make a choice to say, look, I can make a living like James Earl Jones just talking. We don't know we have that opportunity.
Right.
They have access to a TK Kirkland to say, well, let me find out the truth about the entertainment business. Let me not step on the landmines. Or like my son, woke up one morning and went to Culinary Institute. When he told me he was going to the CIA, I said, no, my son's not working for the government. I had no idea what that was, you know.
Right.
But but you're doing it, TK. Tell us a little bit about your management company.
Well, my management company, I haven't managed anybody in years because I feel like the world has truly changed. So I don't like babysitting people anymore. You have to have a patience now to these young artists that you got to babysit, and some of the artists are not equipped, so to speak. No credit cards, no bio, no determination. So I don't manage no more. But I had a great run in the management game. I managed everybody started a lot of people from D.L. Hughley to Mike Epps. My company managed Sandra Bullock, Anthony Michael Hall, John Lucasamo. My team was a gentleman named David Kleeman and Tommy Chesterow. Um, it was a great journey at that time. Still doing some things, and now I'm doing some stuff with the rapper Little Baby and Twister and the music business, and just keeping myself creative. I got something on the table that's huge, but I learned over the years that until all the element components are together, that you don't talk about it till the final check is signed. So hopefully we'll be coming back doing this again after this huge deal that I'm working on is closed, and it's something that's so big it's going to outlive me. And that's the thing. I always tell people, create something that will outlive you. And this is going to be one of those things that I'm truly excited about it.
And that's why I write books, and that's why my son's here. But I hope I'm getting one of those phone calls that you gave me in January. Said, Kev, it's about to happen. Okay,
Right.
so I hope I'm still on that short list.
Yeah, yeah. It's on there. And what's crazy is still the same deal. So one part of the deal is actually done. It's awesome. So now it's the other deals that's going on that we're pursuing. And we hope that it'll be done anytime soon.
All right, Theo.
All right. I don't have a lot more time left before I gotta go to work, so I just wanted to ask you one quick question before I go. I just wanted to know if you could change anything in your life, what would it be? And if you would, what would it be? And if not, why wouldn't you?
That's a good one. If I could change anything in my life, I wish I would have had one baby mama.
Okay.
That's what I wish. I wish all my children was under one roof, and that I was married to a decent woman who I treated with love and desire, and just love just one person. But in that area of love and everything, oh, I'm gone. I'm tainted.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
You're
wrap.
done. It's never too late, man.
No, it's too late for me. But the kids, man, it's awesome. And people say they'll never change their kids because the kids is here. Well, I always say, well, if they wasn't born, you would have never knew them. So you wouldn't have felt a certain way, right? But they're here. I always tell people, play the hand that you're dealt. That's how you can live a better life, because people who get depressed, people who get hurt, is because they look at somebody else's hand and how they are playing their game. And if you try to play somebody else's game, guess what? You're going to get a stride and lose focus on what you're trying to do.
I got you. All right. Well, thank you. It was a great meeting with you.
And you take care of yourself. Stay focused. Don't let nothing deter you from getting off your square, as we say.
I will. All right. Thank you, man. I'll let my dad finish up the conversation.
Yes, sir.
With you.
All right.
All right. You guys have a good day.
TK, what are you working on now? Because I know you always got something going on.
Well, I'm working on a lot of things, but like I said, until certain checks are done, I don't talk about it. This is what you learn in the business, because I'm quite sure you've been here in a situation where you can get everything is looking good. You wake up one morning, you think you about to get a check, and they don't want to do the deal.
Yep.
So, am I right? So
yeah, you're exactly right.
Yep. So in life, what you do is, even when you get the check, it still may not come out. So
Yep.
you got to get the check, and then you still got to wait for it to come out for it to be official.
And,
So
and that's
business,
the and that's the reason why I started RMK Productions. I wanted to be in control of my own fate. I
yeah,
surrounded myself with a team that has the same dream and the same purpose. And the other thing is, like, even when I talk to my podcasters, they keep saying, how do I get a guest? How, whatever. I'm saying, put people in your podcast that you want to talk to. Put a person
so
on
put
your.
podcast that you could depend on.
Yep.
See, see, my podcast, what I did, I never hardly talked to anybody in the entertainment business. Never. And not that I dislike anybody. I don't deal with people in entertainment because people have schedules, people are so busy, and you're not as important as you are. They just don't see you as an important. So when you depend on other people, they could put you in a position to let you down. Now I was tired. I was so busy, but I made sure that I kept my word with you out of respect. Like that meant thing to me. I said, I gotta do this, Kev. He been talking to me like it'd have been horrible. I'd have called you this morning and said, I can't do it.
You don't have to worry about me. I'd have been on a plane, been in front of your door with a mic and said, TK, sit your ass down. Let's go.
Right. You understand? So we need people that'll keep their word. So I avoided the entertainment industry totally. I find in my journey that the average person has a story. So I deal with people. If I meet them, they talking to me. I say, hey, can I put you on my podcast? I take that person and use them on my show to inspire millions around the world, whether they're going through something, whether they're about to go through something. Their story is going to touch. So I've done 243 episodes of the TK Kirkland, Charlemagne the God, executive producer. But I came in the gate with Turbo because I had the whole staff of the Breakfast Club and SoundCloud all behind me. So I was in a different position, but that fell in my lap. It wasn't something I wanted to do because I didn't even know what a damn podcast was. I kept saying they want me to do an iPod. I thought it was an iPod. I was saying it over. So here we are 5 years later. So it's a good look.
Well, I had the same standard. I said I've been an actor. I have not been as successful as you are. You have been, but I was successful because I got a shot to be in a Mark Wahlberg film. I got a shot to be in a couple of other films. I got a chance to be on All My Children and One Life to Live, and well, not All My Children, Guiding Light and One Life to Live. I've done commercials, but I also know the same way. It's like when I decided to do Talking with Kevin, I said the one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to have anyone on my show that was not giving back. And my whole life is, you've got to be making a deposit and not a withdrawal. And so I didn't want to be part of someone that was just coming over and say, look, Kev, you got a decent following. I want to be on your show so I can go ahead and promote mine. If you're not helping the community, you're not serving anything other than yourself. And God, always says he sends his strongest warriors out into battle. And I'm doing battle every single day, trying to educate our young people, trying to educate our young men like you have to step up and be responsible. I'm trying to educate our women to stop making horrible decisions and bringing young people into this world when they're not prepared for the world themselves. I mean, you and I say the same thing. We just say it a little differently. But I'm trying to open those doors. And through example and through the power of story, because everyone has a story to tell, Talking with Kevin and Son and RMK Productions provides a platform for these people to have a voice. There are a lot of stories that never get told. There are young brothers and sisters that have been standing on the front line of COVID, sacrificing their life, and we've got individuals that won't wear a mask and that are jeopardizing their life. And I know I just took the interview to a whole nother conversation, but we're both in a position of our own power. And I will say this 100 times, and I've sent you a text. Every time I talk to you, I send you a text. I always say, I'm proud of you, TK. And I've heard other people introduce you, and I always say, TK, the truth, Kirkland.
I appreciate
That's my tagline for you, brother, because you speak it, you say it, and you have conversations. And I say this often. Education is not designed to make you comfortable. And please steal this phrase from me. It's designed to make you think.
it. Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's what
Yeah.
we have to do as people of color. We have to stop reacting to the system that is playing us. And we need to educate ourselves in order to create a system that works for us and not against us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
So,
totally understand. Life is like a Rubik's Cube, my man. You got to get all the colors in order, and every day that's a challenge. And people just got to know how to think and be clever and put themselves in good positions, because a lot of people don't have great beginnings, right? Some people come from nothing and end up successful. Some people um, uh, dig holes too deep that they can't get out of. And this is just life. And all we can do is give the people the information. It's up to them how they process it.
all right, TK, if you had one takeaway to leave our guests, what would your message be to our listeners that's listening to the TK story on Talking with Kevin and Son? What would you what do you want them to take away from this interview?
To stay humble but move with a purpose.
Sorry, and it's all about choices, ladies and gentlemen. We can reach TK Kirkland on his Instagram.
Yes, at TK_Kirkland. You listen to my podcast every Monday, the TK Kirkland podcast. We just dropped one today. Is I cover your ask with insurance. So we're telling people not do you just get life insurance, but read your policy, because a lot of people get insurance, not know their policy, take a loan sometimes out on their policy, maybe just $600, and not really pay it back. So they do compound interest on the $600. And next thing you know, a lady who I'm into, guy Julius, who was represented her, wound up having to pay $17,000 because she took $600 out years ago for $17,000. I mean, it's now $17,000. So she's in debt. So to people listening, get your life insurance, take care of yourselves, but read your policy, know what you're doing. If you take out a loan against your policy for a small amount, it doesn't go away. You have to pay it back, because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the main thing in life is not how well you live, it's how well you die. So remember that. I've seen a lot of people who lived a great life, but because they was in denial, they put money aside to protect themselves as they get old, end up in the most horrible shelters. Your children don't come see you, or you could be very, very successful, and somebody who knows the game can talk to the state, and the state will come in and put a guardianship on you, take everything from you, and take you away from your children. So you always got to think, you always got to prepare, and you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, our listeners, we have covered so much information. We sat here and we listened to TK, the truth, Kirkland. He shared, he's enlightened you. Hopefully, something he said touched you within your soul that changes your view from the window that you're sitting at right now. We ask that you subscribe and you follow TK. Hit him up on his Instagram, or was it IG? Is that what they call it?
Instagram is TK_Kirkland, ladies and gentlemen. Twitter is also TK Kirkland, and the podcast is the TK Kirkland podcast. And I think that it will inspire you somehow, some way.
Yep. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And TK, you have an open door to come back.
Yes, sir. And
Anytime. As a matter of fact, we have a podcast, One Queen, Two Kings, that you said you had some dynamic daughters. Come on as a father, bring your daughters on. Let's tell their story, because I hear that they're going out there and putting it down just like the way their dad is. That podcast is all about, strong men, uplifting, inspiring women, and women giving something back. So you're more than welcome to come back, and I hope you share and connect. If you have any of your friends in your social circle that has a conversation that needs to be shared, there's an open door for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in to this event, RMK Productions and the 10 Podcast United. And, you know, my grandfather always said, when you get to a position that you can help someone, it is your duty. Reach one, teach one. Adopt this hashtag. Find 1,000 reasons to be kind to someone. This is Kevin McLemore and Theo McLemore, and we fade the black.